Death penalty. Two convicted murderers, Tafadzwa Shamba and Tapiwa Makore Senior, have been condemned to death by Judge Munamato Mutevedzi after a gruesome explanation on why the death penalty is still applicable in Zimbabwe.
Drove Tafadzwa Shamba and Tapiwa Makore to commit this murder is relentless and could not be stopped. It can only be neutralized by death. Our hands are therefore bound, and accordingly, it is directed that both accused persons shall be retained to custody and that the sentence of death be executed upon each of them according to law.
Why the state got to that position, why the judge got to that position. Number one thing that they said was the fact that there was no remorse by the two men for what they did. You recall the video of Tafadzwa Shamba explaining how he killed Tapiwa Makore.
But since
and the other thing was that the issue of the head, which is not yet found, is one of the things that made the judge to say, you have no remorse, you are not bringing us the head so that the family can have closure. But the question is, who is going to perform the execution? Because the last execution that was done, it was done on Chidumo and Masendeke, the notorious criminals that terrorized Zimbabwe for years. Maybe it's not good for us to celebrate the death of these people or these people being given a death penalty, because one of these days someone is going to be wrongfully convicted, and this has happened multiple times in America. People have been wrongfully convicted, put on the death row. The story is known of that young boy who was wrongfully convicted and was killed. After some years, they discovered he did not do what they said he did. And in many places in America, a lot of people have been wrongfully convicted, and there is another gentleman who was falsely convicted, only to be discovered when people wanted to do a movie about his story. That's when prosecutors and people, directors, saw that the story of the lady did not add up. So what happens if this happens to someone? However, I think it also serves as a deterrent, because if you look at how Jason Muvevi has killed those police people, and he went on a killing spree and was not even remorseful for what he did, what's going to happen to such people? Maybe a case that happened in South Africa, Oscar Pistorius, he killed River Steenkamp. What was he sentenced to? Less than 20 years in jail. So then you ask yourself, if we follow this path of democracy, what if somebody has killed somebody and they don't get recourse for that? What's going to happen? But also there is another thought, which is they are political activists that are in jail, and these political activists can become targets and can be used as examples that you don't turn against the government and can be sentenced to death. What are you going to do about that? So as much as we don't want to celebrate, as much as we also are indifferent about what we have seen over the years, over the people that have killed other people and they go scot-free, we need to be careful what we are celebrating. The issue of death penalty. But I want to hear from you. What do you think about the death penalty, and what do you make of this judgment by Judge Munamato Mutevedzi?